Alrighty. Well, welcome viewers to the continuation of our second limited series, Thick as Thieves 2, here at Tales of Witternacht, our D&D 5th edition actual play stream. I am AJ, and I will be your storyteller this evening. And with me are tonight's players, Dustin, Silver, Conrad, and Ollie. Before we begin, we'd like to thank a few groups. Smiteworks for Fantasy Grounds, our virtual tabletop of choice, Sirenscape for our amazing music, ambiance, and sound, and Discord for our voice and video services, as well as Wizards of the Coast for D&D 5e, the game we play. Tales of Winternacht is not directly affiliated with any of these companies other than they use their products. And with that, let us go ahead and begin tonight's tale. The best way to begin is with a recap. Last time in Tattoo, our ragtag group of thieves emerged from the precinct dungeons. Close calls were easily diffused with Escher's guard ensemble and some careful planning. The group even finding some basic weaponry to purloin along making their escape. They made their way back into the city streets with the two that they were to escort. The group adopting a new role, one of a theater troupe named the Lord Chamberlain's Men. They traveled to the docks, dropping the two they liberated at a warehouse that was served as a drop point. Arbor and Krellin, curious of the safeguards the warehouse offered after a very complex arcane lock was dismantled, stepped inside to find only darkness. Their blindfolded compatriots stepped into the dark, and with the task wrapped, they headed to the Robber's Grotto, a local tavern, for a meetup and their inevitable reward, which seemed highly suspect at this point. Heading over to the Robber's Grotto, the group was met with a decent tavern, Zilchek, and a great bottle of Atanaberry wine. They had rooms purchased for them, some opting for a night under the stars instead. Others slept in another place altogether, and some taking bards altogether, but the promise of a reunion in the morning when they be brought to their prize. And with that, we will go ahead and run through what everybody is doing with their evening. So I think the best way to probably run this is a simple d20 roll, and then we'll go high to low.
If you don't mind just putting me at the end, I'm fixing a tech issue, so.
Not a problem.
Damn, it was a race to the bottom, though.
Indeed it was.
Ooh!
All right, all right. So, starting with Arbor, we'll go ahead and go through. What are you doing with your evening? I believe you were one of two that wanted to go ahead and sleep on the roof.
Yeah, I think we kind of at the very end discussed join Krellin up on the roof. My Echo staying hidden in the shadows between the buildings. And I don't think he does much else with his night. He's a little bit tipsy from the shots. He's a little bit suspicious, but he's ready for a night's rest.
Alrighty.
Especially if Krellin is already asleep, he'll just pull out his bedroll and bunk down.
Perfect. Any specific safeguards that you are taking as you go ahead and lay down for the evening?
Uh, I don't think so at the moment, other than just having not de-manifesting my Echo.
Okay, perfect. Kind of keeping that vigilant watch over you.
Yeah.
Then we go ahead and move to Zay. What are you doing on this fine evening, the 6th of Fadermont?
I think, say, after watching Arbor climb out of the window and firmly locking the window behind him, and then locking the door as well. I realized I didn't cover like ritual spells. I'd know. Would I know alert? Would I know alarm? Sorry.
Reasonably so, yes. Alert,
So
can't learn a feat, but
I'm going to add 5 to all my initiative rolls for the future. He'd cast alert around the door.
Mhm.
for anybody who wasn't him, and he'd also then include Escher to not set off the alarm as well. Because there have been nights when Escher has suddenly burst into his room late at night, closed the door behind him, and just been like, "You haven't seen me." So he doesn't want that noise, so he's prepared for it. Failing that, he'll then sort of like sit down in the bed and remove his like a journal almost from the inside of one of his jackets, and then just sort of like start writing in it.
Perfect.
Before he eventually puts it down and goes to sleep.
Alrighty. Onir, you went ahead and turned in a little bit earlier than everybody else. So did you try to catch just a few minutes extra of sleep in your room?
A few minutes extra of sleep? Yes and no. Onair would have retired to his room, and just before heading to bed, he would have given his nightly prayers to Deidus and burned a little bit of incense in remembrance of his family. Other than that, no, nothing too much.
All right. With your prayers to the God of Dreams, you are easily able to go ahead and take your night's rest. You probably the most comfortable of all. And we go ahead and move to the one who didn't stay at the Robber's Grotto. Escher, you are in the accompaniment of Senna, the bard who was performing at the Robber's Grotto. What is your plan?
Yeah, Escher would be taxing his memory as to what other locations are in the rough proximity.
Okay. Go ahead and give me a history check. All right. With an 8, you might possibly be able to find something else inside of the Shadow District, but your mind kind of wavers slightly as you think of both the Wave District and the Root District.
Saga's ready to reroll.
Okay, all right. Go for it. I'll have to keep an eye on these.
One.
Get rid of that too.
Hey, Saga.
Hey, we improved by 10.
Much
there we
better.
go. Yeah. So, hey, as you go ahead and think to kind of like where you're located within the Shadow District. Right now, you're kind of in the Vampire Citadel, and you would be better going off towards the Rebel Precinct, kind of the outer portion of the Shadow District. There's a handful of places to go ahead and stop by. Are you looking for a place to spend the night? Are you looking for a room to rent? What's your interest?
Yeah, would be to find a little bit more familiar place to stay. Something that's maybe a little bit more upscale than a place called Robber's Grotto.
Okay. Very fair. Then in that case,
I think he'd be willing to dip into the Wave District if necessary too. So.
Oh, absolutely. You do have a locale that is not too far out from kind of this theater ward. You're reminded of your brilliant performance that your group was able to give earlier in the day and earlier in the evening. But there are a handful of places. There is the Sea Dog Tavern. There is the Archer and the Chalice. If you're looking for something a little more upscale, you could go to a place called the Furry Madman.
This sounds so not upscale.
Yeah. Hey.
That's someplace, relatively decent, mid-level, closer proximity.
Sure.
The fantasy equivalent of the Holiday Inn.
You
lost
head
that sponsorship.
you head over to the Furry Madman, and you are immediately reminded why this place has that moniker. There are a brilliant array of pelts, leathers, and other fabric fineries that dot the interior lobby of this space. And although something like the Furry Madman might not necessarily pique the interest of anybody, it does actually seem quite nice. It is run by a catfolk who wears a very exquisite, long kind of robe, even this early in the morning. They seem to have kind of almost this long boa thrown over their shoulder that kind of cups down over their kind of bust. And he does kind of look up, his eyes catching in the light that illuminates the lobby. Leans over the counter with a book open right beside it, a ink and quill right next to it. Ah, hello. Would you like to go ahead and seek a room tonight? Or were you just wandering in for drinks?
Oh, no, room for the night and bottle of wine, couple glasses.
Perfect. Can be arranged. And they will go ahead and turn over this kind of ledger towards you, a place for you to go ahead and sign for a room release.
All right.
Senna's kind of just looking around at all of the furs and pelts that are draped around. This place is entirely filled with all sorts of hunted heads of various animals. Some of them a little bit better preserved than others, but it's a very busy space, but somehow the eclectic nature all works together. And she kind of leans over as you're about to presumably write your name in this ledger. And just
Signs
says,
the name Holder.
Holder. Okay, okay.
Holder.
So this is the place that they're going to be staying for the evening. Do you have any preference for what kind of room we stay in? One bedroom, two bedroom? And she kind of like leans into your shoulder ever so slightly.
Don't know what kind of places you typically stay in, but one bedroom versus two bedrooms, just a matter of if it's got some nice furniture, a decently upscale room. I don't imagine it's probably a suite of any sort. Maybe. Kind of turns eyes towards the innkeep.
The innkeep immediately kind of just like fur bristles on the back of their neck as they turn around. They can tell you're looking for them, and they approach. Ah, yes. What exactly can I assist you with?
Oh, my good friend here would like to know about possibility of multi-room suites available. It's one of the finer things they have out there in Bavaria and some other places. Didn't know if that was something you offered in your fine establishment.
Absolutely. And you see kind of like smacking their hands together and just rubbing them. You know, most places undertake some sort of chief architect for things, but I fancy myself a designer of sorts. So I had a direct hand in the construction of the Furry Madman. And I will tell you, just true to its name, there is a room that has a beautiful skylight. It has 3 adjoining suites. If you would like that, I could even arrange for another to make your acquaintance.
I'm sorry, what was the last part?
If you would like to occupy all 3 of the adjoining rooms.
2 rooms would be fine. So one of the adjoining rooms would be fine.
Perfect. Perfectly fine. You will still have access to, of course, all of the amenities. Looks over. Holder.
Yes.
Yes. All right. Then here is your key. And the cost for this room will be 6 gold, please.
Oh, certainly. Not a problem. You'll pay him this... Yeah. prefer, some privacy, not to be disturbed, and he'll slide 10.
Perfect. Yeah. Immediately takes it. Of course, that can be arranged. Ironically enough, the entirety of the room would run you 10 gold, so I'll make sure that nobody bothers you. And you are left to your own devices, kind of guided through a small hallway that leads off to this extremely exquisite room. It has branching kind of triangle design with, as mentioned, a very large skylight in which you can see all of the stars in the sky above you.
So is there somebody takes us there, or just directed to go where we're supposed to go?
Directed to go down
Okay.
there.
Before walking away, he would just ask, I'm sorry, I didn't catch your name.
My name is Karshak.
Oh, nice to meet you. I'm sure I'll see more of you in the future.
I would hope so.
You have a good evening.
You as well.
Oh, did we, were you gonna send the wine up, or do we take that down here, or?
Oh, as I mentioned, the amenities are included. You may go ahead and serve yourself as much as you would like. A pail of 3 bottles, I believe. Very nice reserve.
Oh, splendid, splendid. That'll be great. Good evening to you. And I just
Good
gotta
evening to you as well.
usher Senna to head off in the direction and follow quickly behind her.
Yeah. Senna heads off. She immediately kind of walks into the space, and you notice her kind of like roll shoulders, kind of relax a little bit, and lay down on a very plush kind of seat. Inside of here, it is not nearly as loud as the lobby, but you notice that the design is a lot more kind of together. All of the speckled kind of pelts that sit on the side seem to be sort of prey animals, so they are smaller in size, and you have a very large rug as well that spans the entirety of this kind of lobby, secondary lobby area that would presumably split off into the 3.
Okay. Do a quick survey of the room just as to security. How easy is it for other people to have eye line, being able to see in? How well can I see out to see if anybody would be, potentially approaching or spying or anything like that? Yeah, and the off chance, can I see people sleeping on a roof on the other end of town? But just chance.
This isn't a full-on observatory. There is a skylight, but it doesn't open with the telescope. You kind of give this cursory glance, and if you want to go ahead and be a little bit more active than your passive, you can. But otherwise, I can just take your passive as is.
Are we talking perception or investigation?
Perception. If you're just giving
I'll just roll
around.
passive perception then. I will stick with that.
Cool. Yes. With your 21, you are able to look around. You spy that there are double locks on every single door. You notice that this entire space seems to be highly secured outside of the large kind of glass roofing that sits. And as you go ahead and kind of like just move ever so slightly to peek into one of these rooms with the door cracked, you see that it doesn't necessarily seem like there's windows inside of the room.
Okay.
Feel quite confident about things. Your due diligence.
Okay. All right. I'll leave it up to you as DM wise as to how far you want to get into this, but mostly he's going to basically just start a conversation with Senna. Take a seat on the other side of the room, whatever sort of chairs they might have, sofa, anything like that. Pour himself a glass of wine, pour her one, and then just casual chit chat that will gradually shift towards trying to get any information I can get about our little goblin friend.
Okay.
Anybody else of interesting note that may frequent the place she was working at.
So how's the way that you're approaching this conversation? Are you trying to like slowly steer it in a certain direction? Are you trying to kind of block certain methods in order to go the route that you specifically want to get your answers? What kind of tactics would Escher use?
Mostly to start with would just be trying to getting to know you, getting to know all about you. Oh, horrible, but I had to do it. um, no, just kind of like just ease her into the conversation of, hey, I'd like to know more about you, places that you work, things that you do, where you come from, that type of stuff, and just not so much giving a direct interest and I really want that information, more of a feign interest to gain some trust, uh, break down the any apprehension she'd have about providing that information.
Okay. Roll me a deception check then. For feign an interest.
Oh boy, my dice just like completely disappeared, and they did it again.
Yeah. With your 27, you notice that Senna is naturally easing into the conversation. While she might be slightly closed off with this kind of bubbly exterior, you start to notice that she is quite social in her endeavors. You are able to go ahead and learn a little bit about her. She plays in six spells specifically, and she has journeyed to most of the very low end kind of taverns and inns. Um, with that information, you maybe feel a little bit more confident pushing into specifically what you're asking of learning about Zilchek. And as you do, there's mention of seeing him around. He's a very loud individual, and whatever he does for work seems to pay the bills. She doesn't necessarily seem to know what he partakes in, but she does know what he partakes in, which is extremely expensive alcohols.
All right, expensive tastes and loud. Got it.
Mm-hmm.
Does she have any information on any other interesting folk?
Who do you want to know about?
Just anybody that she's taken an interest in that seemed of basically anybody that she finds interesting.
Okay. Yeah. You do actually get something. She was recently hired by one of the more noble houses in order to go ahead and perform for them. And having a private performance was quite a nice way to go ahead and get payment. Not too many people involved or anything like that. But she talks about a very sad individual who was at the performance, a daughter of the family who seemed very displeased with kind of her situation with things. Um, she kind of snaps her fingers trying to remember. What she connects it to is the fact that she remembers the seal of the two intertwining fish.
Do I recognize that seal? Is that
You very much would recognize that seal. That is exactly where you went ahead and dropped off the two individuals.
Okay.
A warehouse that had that same seal. Even though you kind of wandered off a little bit, you made the first approach, so you would still get it.
okay?
And for you, if you would like to go ahead and make a history check, see if there's any additional information you could glean off of it outside of that initial kind of connection you make.
Okay.
With Saga on deck.
13.
On deck.
13's not awful.
No, it isn't.
Yeah.
You're able to remember at least the name of the family, the Dharm family. But the daughter's name, getting into a family tree, you realize that it's a little bit more drama than you necessarily want to delve into, and she's able to kind of pull away from the talk about the Dharm performance.
Okay. How recently was this?
This was about a week ago. Not too long at all.
Okay. I suppose Asher would stick around, keep conversation for, let's say, roughly what time was it that everybody was retiring and everything?
Well, you had O'Neill and Krellin retired a little bit more early than everybody else, and then you were with Arbor and Zay. It was kind of the three of y'all before you actually started breaking up. Early. And right now, you'd probably be edging into territory of the 7th of Fadermon.
Okay. So, little past midnight, wee hours of the morning.
Wee hours
I
of
would
the morning.
imagine he'd pretty slow play it with the conversation and kind of like stretching that out. So I could easily see an hour to 2 hours of conversation.
Cool. You do get the offer of a liar performance as you have definitely endeared yourself to her.
Sure.
Not as big as a harp. She is easily able to pull it out, and she does a quick performance for you. It's quite soothing. You feel like you're kind of reaching that point in the evening where you could either push past kind of a layer of exhaustion, not mechanical exhaustion, or you could kind of keep yourself up further.
Okay. Recalling what Karshak said about the room, it's a all-inclusive, it's paid for.
The large door that you kind of walked through at the end of this hallway seems to really be the only entrance into this space.
Okay.
So any sort of cleaning service or anything that would need to approach would have to step into this initial lobby that you are currently in with Senna.
Okay. Asher, just see where the evening goes, not force anything, just eventually, whatever transpires, he would eventually sneak out at some point in time.
Perfect. Yeah, you go ahead and make me a stealth check.
Not great,
Okay.
not bad.
It's all right though. Yeah, you kind of feel as you're stepping through just the small kind of like pitter patter of the talons of one of these like large rugs, a bear rug that you're specifically stepping on. Step a little too close to the paw, and there's just a faint clacking, but Senna doesn't seem to be roused at all, and you make your escape.
All right.
You're heading back to the Robber's Grotto.
Yeah, he'd head back to rejoin the rest of the group. He would leave just a short little note saying enjoy the room and the amenities.
Perfect. You leave Senna for the evening, and as you do, we go ahead and roll forward into the morning. With this, you each find yourselves back at the tavern on the dawn of the 7th of Fadermon. As you each kind of awake and go through your morning rituals, you are all hit by the very intense smells of a beautiful meal. Savory notes, sweet notes, that little tiny bit of tingling spice that hits you as well. Any sort of flavor profile that you would be inclined towards. You're kind of hit with it. How many people are food motivated?
Oh, definitely. 100%.
All right. So, here's what I am going to go ahead and do. As a way to go ahead and have us figure out who makes it down first, I would like everybody to go ahead and roll me initiative.
Ah,
Get ready for the Battle of Brunch.
Okay.
Krellin.
I can go ahead and roll Krellin. I guess we didn't really figure out though. For stream, we do not currently have our player Jeff with us, but in terms of who would like to run, Jeff did leave it in the hands of either Conrad or Silver. If one of y'all want to take up the mantle,
I mean, I'm happy to. I just don't have
Have at it.
control over the...
go for it. If you go to the character page, you should already have Krellin pop up on there. And then since he's unclaimed, you can go ahead and claim him.
Ah, there we go.
Yep. And you should be able to open up a sheet. Perfect. Perfect. So, Krellin and Escher, you both make your way down. Not necessarily a race of sorts, but you do make a subtle contact between you as you head downstairs. Zay, you are the next to awaken as you go ahead and make your way down. Arbor, you as well. Step on down into the eating space once again. And Onair,
Last but not least.
as you get up, is there any sort of morning ritual that you have?
Reminiscent of some very muscular man that wields an axe. Onair does go for a run. He does some light exercise in the morning.
Perfect, perfect. So in the irony of all things, you do technically wake up earliest, but being out of the building is actually what causes a slight bit of issue. As you make your way, yeah. As you make your way back, you join all of the others in the interior of this space. You notice that the table that you had previously in the evening is actually available to all of you. And let me go ahead and boop. As you go ahead and take your seats around the table, all of the scents seem to be coming from this back kitchen area behind the large bar. And you see the bartender, the proprietor, coming through, bringing out plates of food, and catches your eyes and immediately goes towards the back kitchen again, pulling out a large platter. You notice a wide assortment of things as it is laid on your table. You see thick slices of golden bread that sit slathered with honey butter that seems to just melt in its translucency. It seems to be infused with a sense of wildflower and clove. Arbor being one of the most adept at identifying the scents of this meal. You notice that there is a pan-fried cheese that sits beside it and bubbling occasionally to kind of prevent any sort of crust from setting fully. The star of the show, though, is an ever-smoking cast iron griddle that sits in the center of this large platter, serving as some sort of pseudo-lazy Susan that you can spin around for your group. There are sizzling sausages of peppered boar meat intermingled with caramelized onions and peppers. The smoke encircles kind of the entire space extremely quickly, and you have this scent that tickles your nose for those adept with spice. That is once again what you kind of maybe caught a whiff of in the morning. Not too far off of that lie choices for other palates that might grace 6 bells. There are roasted figs with small berries set into the crevices, kind of covered in this balsamic glaze, and you notice that there is a small dish beside it that has a sweet yogurt sauce. But this is quite the spread as the Kenra individual looks towards the entire table and says, yeah, so this is already paid for. So thank your little companion, I guess. And goes ahead and scans over all of you. Are there drinks that I can get all of you?
Oh, coffee. Yeah, definitely.
Like a hot tea you have?
Coffee, hot tea, yeah. those started. For you, points over, kind of gesturing crudely towards both Asher and Onair.
The coffee for me as well.
Perfect. And anything you're craving?
Onair just picks his head up from. He's already served himself a plate and halfway through it. Yeah, just water, please. Water.
Water, easiest thing to get. Perfect. Yeah. Coffees, teas, waters. I'll go ahead and get those started. And very quickly, he heads off. He comes back with a much smaller platter that has glasses assorted for each of you. And due to the size of your group, you notice that there is an entire pot of coffee that is offered, an entire pot of brewed tea, and then also a very large pitcher of water, along with 5 glasses. Let me know if you need any more food or anything. Happy to be of assistance.
Thank you. We appreciate your help.
Of course. I appreciate the coin. And turns on his way. Is anybody starting conversation, or is everybody kind of silently scarfing down this food that tastes just as good as it looks if you are partaking?
Yeah, no, it definitely starts off just Arbor definitely starts off just eating for sure.
I think without like really paying too much attention, you see Zay sort of start trying to find like fruit that's not covered in sauce.
Mm-hmm.
Just like any sort of like fruit that he can sort of like put on his plate, and at the same time, I'd like to use shape water to move the tea out of the pot into a glass in front of me, so I don't have to actually pour it.
Okay.
And as that's coming on, so I'm getting the fruit and the teas go on, and then suddenly I just sort of like gesture and it stops, and I'm just like, I take a sip of the tea and then just like stop, just slowly eating pieces of fruit.
Onair's gonna like jab you in the side with his elbow and turn to you and say, "Can you do that for the water? Can I
But of
can I
course.
have water?"
Oh, yeah, no, of course. I'll do the same thing. And I'll like gesture towards the water and make it sort of like move out into one of the glasses. Once the glass is full, I'll then use Mage Hand to move the glass closer towards Sonia and put it down. At the same time, just continuing to eat my fruit.
What the hell just happened to just serving yourself? Are you not gonna even have any like meat? There's like 3 different kinds of meat here.
It's a bit heavy for the morning, is it not?
No.
No.
It's fair. He'll look at Abba, he'll look at her, and just be like, well, for me, I prefer a lighter breakfast, and then I eat richer foods around lunchtime, and then in the evening it is more lighter fare again. So give myself a chance to wake up.
Are you not awake?
Not 100%. No, it is. As I said before, a lot of my work is usually done later at night. So my sleep schedule is not one that usually lends itself well to early morning repast.
That makes sense. I was just about to say you should get up earlier. That's what I do. I get up very early to go running.
Physical exertion at that time in the morning. I prefer my physical exertion also late at night. You understand?
All too well.
No, not really, but sure.
There'll be like a brief pause where Zay sort of turns and like just a slow turn towards Arbor and tilts his head a little. He's just like, that's fair.
Escher's just gonna
Uh,
stick to coffee.
just coffee? All right. Are you having it black? Are you adding any cream to it?
Not just sticking to the coffee. There's a lot of wine last night.
There was. My roll me that con save.
I had to go and do that, didn't I?
You did. You did. You really did.
Uh,
Now, I believe Arbor, I'm also going to need you to make a con save.
oh, sure.
Little bit simpler. It was just the shots. He didn't chase it with anything else.
Oh, that
Okay,
20 rolled
solid.
away.
Whew.
I know.
And then O'Neill, you had very little. No, you partook in the Atanaberry wine. Yeah, a con save there. And Zay, I think you were the only one who displayed moderation.
It was nearly a 14.
Nearly.
Was.
The keyword nearly. Let's see if that summons a reroll.
Well, saying that might summon one.
But yeah, you feel a little bit off on the air. You had your run in the morning. You feel like you're kind of getting back into the swing of things. Luckily, this sort of kind of just ritual of getting up in the morning, going for your run, you can manage that at least. But thinking about all of the things that might be happening today, that kind of causes your head to swim a little bit.
I'll turn to Ezra as I'm just drinking coffee. I'll just be like, "So, what happened with the bard last night?"
Oh, it was lovely night. Good conversation, good wine, very nice place. Name quite the misnomer. Furry madman. Primo.
Oh.
Very, very nice, very nice.
Is that supposed to be a joke?
As to it
Turns
being
and looks
nice,
He turns and looks at both himself and Arbor.
No, it is
Was
just
it?
the name. It is just the name of the place. It is, if I remember correctly, I want to say it is covered with furs.
yeah, but
Maybe it is
which-
a little bit insensitive in some ways.
Yeah, I don't think that makes it any better.
No, it's problematic, sure. I'll give you that.
ran by catfolk. Does that help things? Yeah.
Anybody can make a history check if you want to.
Take it.
Go for it. Why not?
Or
Everybody has different threshold.
Arbor looks up from loading just like a crap load of stuff into his coffee. It's like sugar and cream, and he just like asks for whipped cream to put on top. And like if sprinkles exist, he would have dumped sprinkles on there too.
There's only an inch of coffee in that cup. It is just
Yeah,
nothing.
Yeah. O'Neill, it kind of tickles the back of your mind a little bit.
Saga
it's
redeemed a
not just...
reroll. I'm not sure which one we're re-rolling though. It's going back to
There
the
it
con
is.
save or the history check.
Which one do you want?
I suppose
Saga?
it's the history check, but by default. But
Yeah, because it's the latest. Yeah.
The
okay,
history. Yeah.
History
Keep
check,
them
yeah.
drunk. Keep them drunk.
Keep him drunk. Yikes.
Absolutely. Drunk and happy.
Hey.
Hey.
Yep.
there we
Yep.
go. Saga
Yeah,
saves the day.
You're a bard. That's a D4.
It's
Target is giving you
definitely
guidance straight up.
run by a catfolk. That checks out. You feel like you've been in there before. Pretty eccentric kind of place. You kind of mistook it for a shop the first time you went in. But you do have a vague familiarity with it.
Okay, okay.
So you go ahead and continue kind of partaking in this meal. Some of you just partaking in coffee. Uh, the Kenra comes over, offers refills, asks if anybody wants any more food. You have your fill. And for those of you who are kind of nursing this slight kind of hangover, Escher, you're just on the precipice of it, but the coffee helps. And for you, O'Neill, the food helps quite a bit. You see the doors open and a very short-statured individual come in, someone who you have been awaiting as they promised their attendance this morning. You see, whoop, let me do that.
Just for clarification, Escher would have waited to eat until he
Are
made sure
you-
nobody else passed out or anything
Oh,
else bad
okay.
happened to him. Then he would have, started to pick at things. So
Reasonably so. Yeah, you feel quite good about the fact that this food is good, and not laced with anything innately. But and strolls Zilchek immediately, making eye contact and gesturing over towards all of you, making his quick approach as he very quickly shuffles on over towards the end of the table. Ah, good morning. I guess today's the big day, right?
Yep.
It is.
mid payday,
eager-
then yes.
We're eager to get paid.
Indeed. It's the grotto griddle is this right here, and kind of gestures towards the food that is, for the most part, a solid 70% eaten through.
It is a good, how they say, a good spread.
Mm-hmm.
Nope, don't know that one.
Oh, wow.
It means it's good. It's good food.
It is. And thank you very much for providing it. Then.
Oh, of course. I'm sorry if I was a little bit misplaced last night, but in reserving the rooms, I had also remembered that I got all of this. So we can go ahead and be off if you're all wrapped up, or I can awkwardly wait here as you go ahead and continue to eat.
Can you wait here awkwardly as I continue to eat?
Wow, didn't really think you were gonna pick that one. Just pulls up the chair and kind of like sits into it. Yep, no, go ahead and go.
Yeah, Escher will pointedly take a piece of food on a fork and just slowly staring at Zilchek, slowly put it in the mouth, slowly chew, take his time.
Onair is not taking his time. He just needed a moment of reprieve.
Yeah, when Zilchek said let's go, both Arbor and Krellin kind of stood up. Krellin hasn't eaten anything; he's just been sipping his water. Arbor stabbed 3 more things with his fork and stood up and got ready to go. And then when everyone else got, he sat back down and kept eating.
Right. Then yeah, you have this moment where you quickly / slowly eat in front of Zilchek, and amongst each other, and you see Zilchek kind of lean both elbows across the top of the table. So last night you were asking a lot of questions of me, and I didn't get a lot of information about all of you. I don't know how well acquainted all of you are.
We covered that last night.
Oh well. You know.
No, that's why I'm asking.
Oh.
It's fine. I don't mind. All I really need to know is individual information, but yeah.
But
What are
why?
you asking?
I'm asking if you all talked last night. I think that's pretty fair. I put myself out there and I said if I left hopefully the air of awkwardness would leave. I'm just trying to start conversation. You're still eating, and gestures over towards Onair.
You not want me to finish it? You paid for it.
He shrugs.
Yeah?
But eventually he kind of hops off of the chair, and you notice that he kind of walks behind Escher and Krellin and over towards the bar area. As you're all still kind of sat.
So,
We still think he's gonna backstab us.
well, maybe. He did pay for breakfast, though.
Usually works out best to just plan on they're going to backstab you and then just be pleasantly surprised when they actually are truthful.
Yeah?
It is
Yeah.
it is only paranoia if they are not trying to betray you. So
Something we should have mentioned last night is if he does intend, how are we going to disable him? But I believe that conversation is too late.
Yeah, I think, I don't think he's the one we have to worry about. If we're walking into a trap, it's gonna be all his friends.
The bard from last night did say that he has a bit of a loud one, a little bit of exotic tastes. I'm sure that's not the first expensive bottle of wine he's purchased in this place, or this spread for that matter. Not sure why he's trying to go to such efforts to impress us or curry favor with us, unless this is just the purchased on whoever he works for's dime.
Maybe he's psychotic and enjoys... Oh, go ahead.
I would say that's not a bad guess.
Maybe he's psychotic and enjoys watching people enjoy their last meal.
Yeah, fair enough.
I don't think he wanted to watch you guys eat. I'm just saying.
Mm.
I think you guys made him watch you eat. That says more about you guys than it does about him.
Well, what are you saying?
Oh, I assume that, like Ezra said, I go into every job that we have, always trying to make sure that I can make an exit if necessary.
Well, you think they're trying to? You think they're maybe trying to recruit us?
The Shadow Blades.
Well, you know, the whining, the dining, the promising us a big reward.
Don't know about the rest of you. I'm not really overly much of an assassin myself.
I don't know. I killed some people.
As you say this, Arbor and Escher, you both notice that Zilchek is kind of like waving down your group from the end of this bar, almost kind of like hopped up on one of the stools, like just like very, very
psychotic it
loud.
is.
Oh God.
Hold it. Onair will get
We
up.
ignore him then?
No. Onair will get up. He will scoop up the last couple pieces of whatever's on the griddle and stuff it into his mouth. And he'll walk over to Zilchek.
All right. As you go ahead and do so, you see Zilchek kind of standing there, now kind of like hopping behind the bar. The Gunner is just kind of like set up across next to some barrels, kind of just like eyeing the entirety. But Zilchek actually approaches this door over here and opens it up. Now where we need to go is back here. And we'll vanish beyond the threshold of the door.
Man, I hopped those tables good.
Yeah, you clip through them perfectly. Desk hop over them all. Now, is anybody staying with the food?
I'm gonna grab like an apple or something and just put it in my pocket,
Okay,
and then make my way over.
Did you hood slide
Cool.
across the bar there, O'Neill?
With my 18th strength, yes, of course I did.
you just broke it. You didn't even try. Yeah. All of you are able to go ahead and kind of like head back this way. You notice once again the proprietor kind of just like nodding solemnly towards each of you as you see this door kind of open before you. As you all kind of make your approach in each of your own fashions, you see that there is a large kind of shelf, and then some kegs, some canisters, a small kind of like bound, almost ceramic containers. Have a little bit of cloth and kind of rope wrapping. This seems like a storeroom of sorts, but beyond the shelving units and all of the things that are stored back here, you also see a staircase that leads downward. And Zilchek kind of just points at it. If you need me to, I can go down first.
Just so I can check something before we go down these stairs. Is there a secret passageway that leads us exactly where we need to go? Because the last time I was underground, I was running through a sewer, and I did not enjoy it.
Oh,
Oh,
yes.
get over it.
This is the sewers.
Of course it is.
It's the best way to travel through the city, if I'm being completely honest. As long as you can go ahead and keep at bay what's down there, it's not too hard to traverse through it.
Really love the heavy, lovely meal right before we head into the nauseating sewers.
Oh, if you want, and just kind of like reaches over to some cloth that's kind of set on the side, pulls it, and just like a huge amount of dust kind of fills the air, and he starts taking out a dagger to go ahead and cut strips of the fabric. If you want, just holds up the strips towards you.
I'm good. I'm good.
All right, just tosses it on the ground haphazardly and heads down the staircase.
Take one last look at everyone, and Onair will follow behind.
Alrighty.
Escher
in
will
that case-
attempt to reestablish connection with Zay. Are you willing? Willingly fail the check?
Yes, I willingly fail.
Okay.
Let
You find me charming as ever.
do this.
I use prestidigitation to create the smell of, let's say, we'll go with apples, just like, so concentrated basically around his face so he can not smell the sewers.
Okay.
Make a harmless odor with prestidigitation, if I remember correctly.
I believe you can. So you all make your way kind of down beneath, and as you do, you find yourself in this location. Hopefully this works.
Hello, darkness, my old friend.
So, Zay, Escher, Krillin, Arbor, and Oneir. Do you have dark vision?
I don't think so. No.
Okay.
I don't believe Minotaurs get dark vision.
Solid.
Oof. Big rough.
We are
Now,
big and we are rough. That is true.
as
Oh,
you
does Escher have dark vision?
Escher has very good vision.
That he does.
Very good normal vision.
How do I make a token illuminate? Boop, boop, doop.
To put a light source on it?
Yeah.
Should be in the buttons at the top of the map. If you
Mm-hmm.
open those, you should be able to drag a little torch onto anybody. Also, if any
The
of us
button.
has a torch, we can do it that way too.
Okay.
So, O'Neill, what artifact did they promise you? Are you doing this job? What you're looking for?
He's a strong silent type. Did you hear what he asked?
Dustin?
No, I didn't.
Okay.
I thought you were just
O'Neill,
stoic.
how you get roped into this? What artifact did they promise you? What powers are you looking to gain?
Onair will shift his eyes from you if you were looking into his eyes.
Yeah.
I cannot say. I just have things I need to do with it. I don't feel comfortable telling.
Yeah, of course not. Of course not. Did I asked?
No, it's all right. I don't mean to be so evasive. Sometimes you just need things to happen. I mean, I'm sure you can understand.
I suppose.
So I believe you should be able to see now.
Yeah.
With the light. Yeah. As you all kind of head downstairs, having this conversation, you make your way down the staircase actually into a small kind of room that's just filled with kegs, and one of them is slightly kind of pushed aside to lead to a trapdoor that is lifted. You descend down a small kind of set of stairs once again, more so almost like a steep set akin to a ladder. Um, and as you make your way to the bottom, Zilchek kind of gleefully pulls out a torch. And as he strikes it against the wall, you notice that it has that same kind of purplish glow about it as the one you had previously used inside of the sewers. Now that you are in the deep of the sewers, kind of unaccosted by guards, you are actually able to kind of take in your surroundings. There's sense of decay and damp stone that kind of surround all of you and assail your nostrils, not too unlike the food that you got to have earlier. Um, Arbor,
Zilchek bleeding is on.
yes, he is. He is. But as you kind of see him like scramble around some of you through your spaces, both Arbor and Escher, you notice or smell the scent of heavy body odor. And it is very quickly overtaken by the remainder of the sewer scents. And it seems to be emanating from Zilchek. But he makes his way through and just starts walking along, whistling a slight tune.
Okay. Onair will keep pace with him.
Okay. Yeah.
He'll stay like 5 or 10 feet back.
Okay.
Zay, you hear in your head, and I thought the sewers were going to be the problem.
I think you get the message back that's just like, this is why you need to invest in magic that allows you to only smell the things you enjoy.
Just for clarification, Escher has prestidigitation as well.
Perfect. Yeah. Especially after the onset of that BO. It just you know some of the jobs that are maybe a little bit more laborious, like the docks, they kind of have that scent of the mix with the salty sea, and then just people who are hard at work all day. That's kind of what it smells like, but compounded with the fact that this individual is probably not washed in a few days.
No wonder he wants to walk through the sewers.
He's one of them. So proceeds through. You do notice as there's kind of this tight curves as you're looking at this stone wall around you, and although a purple illumination, you're going to parse through. The water also seems slightly murky, kind of moving through this sewer system.
I lost Zilchek. Oh wait, no, never mind.
He pops from around the corner occasionally. But presumably everybody is following along.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Marching
Marching
up the
order.
rear.
Okay. Rear for Usher. And then Arbor, where are you falling in the marching order?
He's probably also towards the back. Once we hit the body odor, I think Escher's nose, Arbor's nose started twitching a little bit too much, and he finally took that scrap of cloth and tied a mask, and so he had to stop to do that for a moment. So probably also towards the back.
All right. Yeah. You do so. Krellin next to you, presumably?
Yeah, Krellin probably right one in front there.
One in front. Cool. All right.
Quiet observing, blending into the walls with his shimmering cloak of darkness.
Then this is the order that we will go ahead and keep. Zilchek continues moving through this space. All you really hear is the echoes of his really pitchy whistling, and also the occasional dripping of water around you. Notice that these stones aren't necessarily well kept, but they're well made. There are slight breaks in some of the stone that you see. You notice wooden planks that serve as makeshift bridges across the way. And as you continue moving through this space, you also start to hear something else. For Escher, for Arbor, for Zay, and for Krellin, everybody but Onair, you hear the occasional sounds of skittering. Something that seems far away sometimes. Sometimes it almost feels like it's right above you, but never too close to give you actual pause. And I am going to go ahead and jet everybody through this, and hopefully not do that, not drag people on top of each other. I did it! I did it!
Worked so well last time.
It's fine. It's fine. Thank you.
You're welcome.
But you make your way through quite a ways of this space. And the sewer system seems quite enormous.
Speaking to the enormity of the sewer system, is there anything to determine where we are in the sewers? Like anything to sort of signal where we are beneath ground to above ground?
Ooh, do you want to go ahead and make me a survival check?
Sure.
Yeah?
Yeah.
$11. The sewer system stretches a large amount of 6 miles underground. And in thinking about the turns that you're taking and things like that, once again racked with quite a bit of brain work that you're having to do. It feels like, based on your initial descent and movement down, for a good while, the robber's grotto was quite large. So you feel that you're still reasonably around that area, uh, somewhere in that district, to say the least. And if the water was maybe of a different coloration, maybe you could be in the wave district. As you continue to kind of move through, Zilchek just kind of like turns over his shoulder a little bit and says, "Now, I know that you were probably thinking that you were just going to be brought to some sort of nice building or something, and I apologize that that's not the case. But there are still great things down here. Not a lot of people searching, so unless you make a lot of noise and you accost the guards that seem to chase after you on your initial ascension into the dungeons, but."
Well, whatever way gets us to wherever we need to be, so we can get whatever we need.
Yeah.
Right. Zilchek kind of moves through, and as he does, you start to actually see some of the kind of mechanics of the sewer system. Large grates that seem to kind of end at these small waterway offshoots. Heavy duty iron bars that seem to be quite immense in structure and very, very well kept. As you go ahead and round this corner, you even notice that one of the bridges is no longer the initial kind of wood that you were seeing before, but rather something a lot more metallic in structure. And off to either side of this kind of metal walkway, there are gates that seem to sit. This metal walkway on the other side of it actually kind of blocking your entry through if you thought you might be able to skip through the water and try to get out anyways. But Zilchek produces a small key ring, very easily kind of opening a door and stepping through. All of you follow?
Yeah.
All right.
We'll follow.
Perfect. In the silence of things, you are able to kind of stick with your thoughts, and whether you were listening to Arbor's question or not, kind of lingers on your mind what exactly the artifact or relic that you are hoping to receive. Whether it's a general hope for what the artifact can do for you, or just pure power, maybe even an aesthetic choice, something like an arcane focus or a very nice weapon to be magically enchanted. Kind of let your minds wander a little bit, and Zilchek eventually heads down a hallway, and you notice a dead end. Kind of turns around with a big old grin on his face. He says, "All right, so this is real Shadow Blade stuff, but within the actual sewers themselves, the way that we keep things hidden is like this." And he sticks the torch into 2 of these brick spaces, and as he does, you hear a small click as he moves the torch downwards, and it sticks in place. And the entirety of the wall kind of beside him starts to glimmer and almost fizzle as it does end up opening up into a small kind of walkway. Oop.
Don't put
He
me in the
heads
water.
through. Yeah, I clipped you through it. He very quickly moves through the hallway and out of view. Onair, as you keep chase, you are able to see that there is a large stone door that seems to be before Zilchek. Is he's kind of moving his hands around it, and eventually finds like a small place, put pressure, and the large stone slab actually opens up.
Where does he end up pressing it?
Are you following behind him to see?
I'm just behind O'Neill.
Onair? Yeah. He seems to gloss his hand over the entirety of it, but in one of the lower right corners, it seems that his middle finger gives, and that is the pressure point. Though his hand quickly moves to obscure any sort of inwards movement. But you kind of peek over O'Neill's shoulders, and you're met with a sight.
It's not
Move
that
into
hard
the
to peek
space.
over near. He's only 5'2", 3.
5'2",
Just,
5'3".
just rest my elbow on O'Neill's shoulder as I look over.
Sure.
So, Onair, you are the first one to notice this, that inside the room there's candles and torchlight that seem to kind of flicker ominously, and you see that there are these long shadows that are kind of being cast against the wall. It's the first place of illumination that you see outside of the torch that Zilchek was kind of wielding as you were making your way through. But the shadows that are being cast are implements of sorts. You notice that there are instruments of torment scattered throughout the room, as this seems to be some sort of torture chamber. Against one wall sits a workbench. There's a series of instruments that glint in the dim torchlight. There's thumb screws, there's manacles, there's knives and blades. You notice a very large butcher knife that seems to go ahead and sit on this desk, each meticulously kind of cut to give the sharpest edge possible. You even notice kind of these slight glints, like you're looking at the sun, as these are very well polished as well. In a cage in the corner of the room. Wait, are you stepping through?
Yes, I am stepping
Okay.
through.
I'm gonna move you then. Yeah. Cool.
Sorry, I didn't see the door, so I didn't know where I could go.
You're
through
good. I'm gonna move
or
everybody
when.
into this hallway quickly, and then if you want to move yourselves around the room, you can. There we go. Oh, okay. We're going all the way over there. Cool.
You can turn off token lock at the top of the map if you want. If you just want us to walk around.
Let's just do that. Yeah.
Save you
go
the
ahead
hassle.
And move around. Do. I'll move Krellin in. And then Arbor, I'll set you in there. And then Escher, yeah, you're good. Boop. Cool. So all of you see this as you go ahead and step into the room. There is a large cage kind of set to the side of this room. And inside of it, you notice the crumpled figure of a goblinoid.
Look familiar?
This body is torn to shreds. You notice that bone is twisted from skin. There's muscle that seems to kind of like lay on the bottom of this metal. It is pretty gruesome. Arbor?
I was say, does he smell familiar?
Go ahead and roll me an investigation check.
I'm glad to know that he's still got at least a male part, that we know that it's a goblin male on the ground.
Everything was torn apart except
left his manhood. That's just too much. You can't go that far.
He's set to shreds.
The head's intact mostly, but kind of scarred beyond recognition.
And there's no like clothing or anything on them, or any sort of identifying marks or
Nice.
No?
tattoos or.
I'll give you this, Arbor. You catch two smells as you very quickly also notice another individual in the room. Onair, you walked right by it, but there is a very long table, a stretching rack, kind of, that holds a pale body across it. You notice that their body is extremely elongated and their bone seems to break through the outer layer of skin. And you notice that they are slightly breathing. as you also see this individual. I have so many people in the NPC thingy. Boop. Boop. And both of their smells are familiar.
Has the door closed behind us yet?
No, the door hasn't closed. Are you looking back to check?
Yeah.
Yeah. The only thing is you look back is you only see shades of gray. The torch that was set outside and set in a downwards position has very much been squelched at this point.
That's fine. Arbor's going to be trying to very subtly going to summon his shadow right here.
Okay. How subtle is this? Is there any like there's no components you technically have to channel for summoning it, right?
Nope. I don't have to do anything. There is still probably a moment where you see kind of like almost like smoke and shadows kind of waft and wisp out of like the cracks in his armor and like down his fur, and then but he isn't summoning it next to him, so it sort of like slips out the door quickly into the darkness of the hall.
Okay. Here's what I'm going to go ahead and ask. Rather than a stealth check from you, it's more so a very honed control of sloughing off your shadows to go ahead and form your echo. So go ahead and roll me an Arcana check.
Oh boy.
Ooh.
I'm so good at those.
Could be worse.
Pretty average.
Yeah. Tier 11. You feel pretty solid. That you're able to kind of sneak it by.
There's the reroll.
There it is. There it is.
Well, let's see if I mean 50-50 shot I get better.
Plus one, baby. Plus one.
Hey!
Very much. Yeah. Yeah.
That's better.
That's
Yeah,
once
I'll take
again that D4 improvement. Very much a bard.
Yeah.
You still feel quite confident.
I'm just going to kind of lean, kind of over and kind of lean over to Krellin. Kind of whisper. These are the people we took yesterday. I would be ready to run if we need.
So the last thing that Zilchek said was, "This is some real Shadowblade shit."
Yeah. Speaking to the hidden room.
Is
Are you
the gentleman on the rack? And he is also familiar to us.
Mm-hmm. No, unconscious, but he's still there.
In that case, around the room, are there any other exits? Any other doors? Anything that looks similar to the wall that he was pressing on to get in here? Or the previous one, rather? Or is it just... I'll just use my passive, because I don't want to make it obvious that I'm looking for it. But...
No. As you kind of step into this room, orienting yourself to everything that's around, including any possible exits or entrances in addition to what you came through, you don't see anything. No. It seems like this is a very small offset cubby of sorts. You also notice that the stonework in here is slightly different. Seems a little bit newer. Doesn't have any of that moss and grime that was on the bottom before.
Anything in the ceiling? There was just like a hatch or anything like that?
As you go ahead and look up, you see plenty of chains hanging from the ceiling.
Amazing.
Some chandeliers.
Chandeliers.
Yes. Zilchek has on his face a large grin where you can see a glint of kind of those caps once again on his teeth. And he says, "Surprise! I I just want to thank you from the bottom of my heart that you helped to clean up loose ends for us."
All right,
Yeah,
all right.
noticed.
Unless the loot, gold, whatever shit we're supposed to be getting paid is stuffed into these things, this isn't what we signed up for.
No. I have the chest. It's fine. And he will go ahead and kind of quickly skitter over towards the table. You notice that there's a few kind of like wooden crates kind of underneath, and kind of pushes through ever so slightly and pulls out a very large wooden chest. Has dark iron banding across it, and kind of sits with his hand above it.
Hmm.
Well, please open it. The less time I have to spend in a torture chamber, the better.
Sure. He goes ahead and opens it up, and you notice that inside there's a multitude of like objects. Not necessarily these like knives and daggers and things, but more so very aged tomes, as well as a few kind of like cloth coverings over odd shaped objects. Kind of gestures to it. I have the other chest too. Let me go ahead and kind of like pulls them out. And as he is doing this, Escher, you notice movement slightly behind you.
Like towards the door or towards the far wall away from where he's at?
Towards the far wall away from where he's at. You kind of feel like there's something like scraping against the ground ever so slightly.
And just like very subtly turn his head just maybe an inch just to try and get his peripherals around. See if he can see anything.
As you do, you see a ball and chain that's on the ground. And
Hurry it up.
right. Sorry. He kind of like hefts out another chest and kind of pushes it over. It scrapes against the ground and even creates a few sparks as he goes ahead and pushes it up to the feet of Arbor. And then he continues kind of like going through a secondary chest as well. Right now, he seems to have a multitude of them kind of around him. What was it again that you were looking for? To be pal, and just like gestures off towards Arbor, and keeps on digging through it. You hear like the clattering of metal on metal, and he holds up a small silvered rod that seems to have this ornate kind of like engraving on it. It doesn't seem necessarily too long, probably about 10 inches in length. But yeah, he holds that up, sticks it back in the treasure chest, and continues digging through. O'Neill,
What did you need?
just there's each of them have tags on them, and if you could just check to see if there's any in there that have your names on them, and continues kind of like digging through the one that is at his feet.
It's like
O'Neill,
a
you-
life day in here.
O'Neill, you hear the groan of this individual. Although they're unconscious, they kind of like slightly shift the vampire male who sat up on the stretching table.
How bad does he look? I know he's like stretched and has things going on that are terrible, but on a scale of 1 to dead.
On a scale of 1 to medicine check, you may go ahead and do one of them.
That's fair. I'm asking for all these rolls that include wisdom, and I don't have a wisdom character.
All right.
But at least it's not a -1 to wisdom.
Very
That's
true.
Yeah.
With your 12, you notice that his shoulder are actually being like slightly torn. You notice that the skin, the way that it's being pulled and being stretched, you can almost kind of see the sinew beneath. But the thing is that it seems like although hyperextended, it's still healthy. It's really weird as you're looking at it. The bone, of course, that sticks out. You're like, ugh. But some of the joints closer to the torso proper, so even kind of the upper, kind of like thigh area near the hip, although it's been hyperextended and kind of pulled out, it seems it seems like it's healthy still.
Like it's almost grown into its new shape.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Okay.
Arbor, as you have this chest at your feet, are you just kicking it back, or
Um. Uh. Could I? Could Arbor make a check to see how tough does this guy look?
how tough does Zilchek look?
Yeah.
He's pretty measly, but if you want to go ahead and try to figure out how tough he might be, you can either make an insight check.
Sure.
Nice.
He he doesn't seem like he's all that.
And he doesn't seem like he's being dishonest.
You'll have to roll insight again on that one.
Ah.
I mean, it was two different things.
I can't give you the 19.
Oof.
With your 9,
Saga?
he is fully bent over this chest, like scraping through things. I mean, you have to admit the cataloging system is absolutely
There it
shit.
is.
You can re-roll.
Ah.
Oh!
Oh!
That was a hell of a
Baby.
reroll.
Thank
That's
you,
so
Lord
worth
Saga.
it.
You're not 20. You notice that as he is pulling things out of this chest and kind of digging through it, almost in the way that somebody would cut their cards and try to go ahead and play someone, he's putting specific items on this top layer. And as he digs through, he's making sure that that top layer isn't upset, but rather it's everything else that's kind of roiled and moved around. He seems to be doing something. You can't make out what the objects are, though.
I'm sorry, one more thing.
Mhm.
Does my passive perception pick up anything? Is there anything else in the room?
With your 19, no, not around you. You got a
Okay.
dead person next to you, dead goblin, and you're squelching in the blood a little bit from where you're standing.
Yeah. Yeah. Asher, come help me look through this chest.
Can you pick it up?
I guess I can move it over to you. Like, can
No, I
can
mean,
pick-
could you
pick
lift
the
it up?
chest?
I mean, how heavy is this thing?
If I lift it up, how heavy is it?
If you lift it up, it doesn't seem heavy at all. Are you doing the thing where you're just lifting it and like huffing it up, or are you trying to test the weight of it first?
No, I'm just picking it up.
Yeah. As you go ahead and pick it up, you have that initial kind of like force of moving it upwards, and as it actually like kind of falls on the weight of itself, you feel like something's like shifting inside of it. And as you do that, the chest opens, and you are met with a giant toothy maw. Can everybody go ahead and please roll me initiative?
had to be a mimic.
It had to be a mimic.
Yeah.
It had to be.
That fucker! Fucking kill him!
And
Solidarity, O'Near.
solidarity.
Arbor tried to join the same team.
Yeah.
And-
Tonight's in twos.
You used your good roll for Krellin. That was nice of you.
Yep.
Roll Q. Initiative. Let's do this.
Okay, just
That's
for
a little
clarification, as to something you said earlier, the goblin's
Mhm.
dead. The one in the corner.
Like
Okay.
torn up, yeah.
Okay.
Definitely dead.
He's healthy on the combat tracker, so I just wanted to clarify that you did mean he was dead.
Oh,
So
yeah, I'm so sorry. Let me go ahead and make some edits real quick.
I didn't know. Maybe it was all cosmetic damage. So
Wounds. Okay, cool. There we go. Now he's dead. Just like we needed. But yeah. Okay. Looks like everybody is in initiative. So we'll go ahead and start at the top. That is going to be Krellin.
Reacting to reacting to Arbor's call, Kellen's going to quickly run over and attack Zilchek.
Okay, yeah.
Kind of quickly pulling the quarterstaff off his back, and boom, boom, and then following up with an unarmed strike.
Okay. I don't know why that didn't problem. Cool. Yeah, Krellin hits him. Yeah. Krellin hits into him with the staff. Zilchek grunts, and all of the hands that were kind of in this just as he's knocked away from it. Yeah. Zilchek drops on the ground, hits his head against the floor, and crumples.
Yeah. Can Krellin move before he takes his bonus action attack?
Yeah. You don't have any immediate threats around you.
Sure. So he'll take one more step, using that to vault, that momentum to kind of step through and vault, end up in a flying kick to try to hit this mimic.
Sure. Yeah. Go for it. Okay.
Minimum damage.
Dang, but you still fly into this thing. Krellin does.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's quite incredible to watch Krellin 1-2 down Zilchek and then flying kick into this mimic. Is there anything else that he would like to do?
Nope.
Alrighty. Then that is going to be over to Zay.
I'm gonna use my action to disengage.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna step back 1 square.
Okay.
And I'm gonna see how much this chest that he was looking through weighs.
Okay. Sure. As you go ahead and pick up this chest, you find that it's slightly heavy. You're probably looking at about like 40, 50 pounds. It's not that bad, though. You've definitely carried things heavier.
In that case, as that's my object interaction, I'll use my bonus action to just take everything in and then turn to O'Near and just be like, do you think you can carry these? I feel like we need to leave real quick.
I've got it, and I agree.
And then I will use the rest of my movement to head towards the door over here.
Now you're picking up this chest.
No.
You're closing it, or you're just ditching it entirely?
Yeah, no, I've asked O'Neill to pick it up.
Oh, okay. Yeah, all right.
He's stronger than me.
Easy done.
He's delegated.
And whenever you were checking it, you just kind of lifted it slightly,
Yeah,
right?
pretty much.
Just to confirm?
Just to confirm.
Okay,
Second object.
yeah.
I wasn't doing anything else with my turn, and I'll move over to the door because I want to make sure that this door doesn't close.
Okay. You are good to head over there. After that, Escher. You notice from behind you that little kind of rattling that was there before is the ball and chain starts to slightly shake, and you actually see as it kind of sloughs off its form, there is another smaller mimic, but it seems to start to pull some of the other objects slightly around, and it is going to go ahead and make an attack at you. So, boop-a-doop.
Oh, it was cute.
It was for
It's
a
lost
time.
its cuteness.
It did.
Yeah.
That it did.
Yeah, that's gonna hit.
For
I wish I could say I
All
had a
this?
21 AC.
hey, minimum damage. It's okay.
Hey!
Again.
The wheel spins around.
The wet noodle contest.
Yeah.
Can I use my reaction to fling my arcane ward?
You can. Yeah.
Perfect. So, you'll see, as he sort of heading towards the door and looks around and sees this thing turn into another mimic. You'll see him suddenly just curse under his breath, and then make almost a grabbing motion from his center mass, and then just sort of move his fingers into a version of those isometric shapes that you see tattooed on him, as interspersing itself between Escher and the mimic. There is a lattice work of these isometric, these geometric symbols, which block the damage.
Boop.
I sure give a little salute.
I don't know why it is no longer in the proper order. Looks like a jump.
Looks like the combat got cleared.
Yeah. Huh. I still have it.
Oh, well, no. We still have initiative orders, so... Ours is still in initiative order, because we can never see where the creatures are.
Okay. Arbor, it is technically your turn.
You should be able
has
to
this
drag
thing,
the little
latched onto
turn
me?
thing back up onto the character you want it on. The little flag.
Oh, perfect. Cool. Thank you.
Yeah. What the fuck? Was that gonna be that easy to get rid of? Yeah, just try to smash this thing.
He can't
Sure.
hear you, he's
Annihilate it.
dead.
You hit into it.
Oh, look at that tag team original thick as thieves flanking.
Yeah. Well, Asher, it's the thought that counts.
Nice.
You swing that warhammer and make solid contact.
Yeah.
As you hit into it, it slightly whimpers as it's impacted by your hammer, but it still seems to have its gnarled teeth and also the large tongue that as you drop this chest from your initial kind of picking up of it, it does use the tongue to kind of reorient itself and sit back upright. Anything else you'd like to do with your turn?
don't think so. I don't really have any good bonus actions.
Okay, doke.
So,
Then all right. That is going to be over to the one at your feet then. So it is going to go ahead and make it. It's actually going to go ahead and lash out with its tongue towards you. And very much misses the mark on there.
No tongue. No tongue.
As we move over to Escher.
ugh.
Okay. We're just gonna go good old rapier on this thing that's suddenly attempting to bite through the ward at my back.
Okay. It did it again. Okay.
19 to hit.
19 is gonna hit it. Yeah, you easily jab into this thing with your rapier.
All right, then he's going to bonus action disengage.
Okay.
Cunning action disengage.
Mm-hmm.
And join Zay at the door.
Okie doke.
And I think that'd be it for me.
All right. Then we go ahead and move over to O'Neill.
Yeah, Onair will follow orders. He's going to reach over the chest and pick it up and puff it over his shoulder. Afterwards, he'll try and make his way through the room. Probably just getting behind Escher here.
Okay.
Yeah, I think that'll be it for Onair. There's not really much he can do. It's like he doesn't have anything out with a chest on his shoulder.
Okay. Then yeah. That's over to the Echo.
Echo. Oh, Echo's supposed to act on my turn, pretty much.
Then, did you want it to do anything specifically? Because I don't think you had it move after you.
No. Yeah, no. I was just having it hold.
Ah, okay.
If I don't tell it to do anything, it basically just takes the dodge action.
Nice. Okay.
You can put the Echo, if you just put in 11 as the initiative, it should put it in right after Arbor.
You should go.
Because it should go alphabetical after.
Nice. That it does. Cool. Then back at the top of the order, Krellin.
Hey, the vampire male didn't go.
He grunted
Oh, okay.
and made a death save. That's what he did on his turn.
Fair.
Is Sirenscape coming through now?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. It says that Silver, your device disconnected.
Yeah, it's been really nice and finicky for me tonight. I don't know that anything has gone out to stream on Sirenscape, so.
Curses! What's really cool, it's bass and it's like don 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 don.
Yeah, it says
Play it
it's
in your
pulling
head.
Sirenscape as my one of the audios the same way I had it set up last week, but then it's pulling Fantasy Grounds dice roll is the only thing that's coming through.
Interesting.
So I added another one trying to get there, but I don't know that it's doing anything. So
It says that you're out of sync.
yeah,
until
because I just
stopped
went and
restarted.
rejoined,
Yeah.
so you'd have to
So
restart,
let me.
stop, and then start the mood again. See if it works.
Working out. Krellin, you want to womp this thing while we're trying to figure out Sirenscape?
Krellin would be happy to womp this thing.
Perfect. Yep, that hits it. Very easily hit into it. And this thing seems to be taking on quite a good amount of poundings.
Yeah.
22 will hit. Perfect. As you strike into it, you once again... Oh, what were you going to say?
I was then he'll use a key point to do
Flurry blows.
flurry of blows.
Nice.
Yeah.
The teeth are just being like knocked from this thing.
It's like lost its deadbolt.
Two unarmed strikes.
Yep. Yep.
Ooh, dodging that one.
And you
Nice.
properly take out this thing.
Now you get to see if it has any goodies inside.
Yeah. He hits it once with the quarterstaff. The second one he plants inside the mimic, like straight through, using that to vault up on top of the quarterstaff, and then just like double feet stomp from as high as he can jump into this thing's face.
Yeah, no, you do that, and mimicking the pool of blood around this corpse kind of in the corner, you see that this also starts to pool as well. But you notice that it's not the same coloration. It's slightly purple in tinge, and it also seems to be smoking ever so slightly, as I need both Krellin and
Ooh, look, great. Hate that.
Okay.
9.
Okay. Fingers crossed Krellin can too.
Oh no!
Okay. So
Krellin
as
has
this
evesion though,
happens-
so he'll take half damage anyway.
He will. So it's only 3 anyway. So for Krellin, it'll be halved. And then also for Arbor, it'll be halved. Pound it down. Here, let me take 1 point.
1 point of damage.
1 point of acid damage, yeah.
Oof.
Slightly bites into the heels of your feet, but not too much outside of that. Anything else he'd like to do?
Krellin kind of used everything. Krellin, are there any shadows in this room? Oh, no, he used his bonus action already. Never mind.
Yes.
Yep. Krellin will just kind of run over here, be ready to also try to get up. Oh no, he'll run up to the vampire and try to start like unlatching him, untying him if at all possible.
Okay. I'll let you use your object interaction for that one, though without putting in like the proper amount of time into it, it's going to take a little bit longer. Yeah, you can get started on that.
Yeah, that's fine. Yeah.
Zay, that is over to you.
I'm going to. I can see. I know with the chest. I can see Asher moving behind me. Do I see Krellin going over to this vampire? Or about my view kind of blocked?
I'd say you can, reasonably so.
And he looks dead, right?
The vampire individual?
Yeah.
You saw him kind of like turn ever so slightly.
I'm just going to walk back out to here.
Perfect.
My turn, and then sort of reorient myself on which way I need to go. Just move over to the left, sort of keeping an eye out for the anything coming from either direction, just so people can make their way out safely.
Perfect. You easily do so. As go ahead and move to our other friend. I'm gonna go ahead and roll up. And O'Near, as this thing approaches you, it kind of lashes out with its tongue, and it doesn't actually seem to make contact with you personally. It seems to kind of smack into the side of this chest, and it kind of jostles you ever so slightly. So I will functionally roll this. Yep. So as you're kind of rocked by this, you hear, as the chest is right next to you, a clicking noise. A faint
Okay.
clicking noise. And you also are going to go ahead and take 9 damage. But outside of that, you feel pretty solid. So that is going to be over to the vampire male, who is going to make another death save. And then, ooh, I don't want that to go over.
Is Zilchek like fully dead, or is he like making death saves too?
Do you want to stop and make a check?
No, do I still see him breathing over there?
You can make me a cursory medicine check with disadvantage.
Oh, goody.
Unless you're actually going up and checking.
What do you think? Should we try to bring the goblin? Kind of like points roughly with his thumb over to Zilchek.
For what fucking purpose? Why are we messing with any of these people? Let's get the fuck out of here.
Don't want to know what's going on?
No, I just want to get paid.
I just want to stay alive, and I think we're kind of fucked in that department anyway, so. Re-roll the disadvantage.
Go for it.
Okay. Sure.
Saga to the rescue.
Yeah.
Oh!
I guess we'll
Actually
be
works.
satisfied with the 11.
He's dead. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, Arbor will kind of try to run up to the vampire and use his action to try to stabilize him, and then help Krellin unties. Arbor wants to get the vampire over his shoulder before he runs out with the rest of them.
Okay. Yeah. Then in that case, ironically enough, you can go ahead and roll me a medicine check again. This one is a straight roll though. You don't have to roll disadvantage.
Damn.
Go to move in these hyperextended limbs, like you're kind of like unlatching and you're focused on those.
Reroll.
Roll again.
At this point, I think she's just flexing.
Truly.
No! Look at that. Dirty 20.
As you do this, Krellin is able to go ahead and give a helping hand to you, and you're able to fully unlatch the manacles on both of the arms.
Yeah. Then Krellin points something out, and then Arbor goes, "Oh yeah, right, shit," and like gets like a dribble of the blood from where he got cut and like drips it into the guy's mouth.
Not the bloodborne pathogens. Yeah. So yeah, you're able to go ahead and stabilize him, and with that, you are also able to kind of. I assume you're going to use the remainder of your turn to help out with dismantling the cuffs. Or did you want to do something else?
Oh, is he? Is he? Yeah, yeah. If he's still latched, I would help with that. Yeah.
Yeah, between you and Krellin, you get both of the arms. So it's just the legs that you have to worry about.
Yeah.
But yes, and in that case, end of your turn, Escher, that is over to you. You see O'Neill right behind you with this chest kind of hefted over his shoulder.
That the ball and chain mimic thing attached to him in some way, shape, or form, or did
No,
it just hit him?
It smacked into like the chest and also like caused him to kind of like shake. It didn't give you a concussion, but it didn't feel comfortable. It kind of rattled your head a little bit.
Okay. Escher's gonna reach up to just onto the top of his sternum and just motioning, muttering under his breath. O'Neill would probably be able to hear him just muttering a little incantation as he's just kind of over his shoulder looking back at this thing. Damn it, he was trying to get away from that. He's gonna cast Mind Sliver on the mimic.
Ooh.
So that is a intel save.
Oh, go ahead and make that. Move it back. Hey, it failed.
It's not very smart.
Nice.
Okay, I like it.
Not smart at all.
Hey, max damage too.
Max damage.
Woo! And
Yeah.
I'll drag the effect on it too.
Perfect. Yeah, no, this thing takes a hefty hit from your Mind Sliver attack. Is there any sort of visible like magic as you cast this, or is it all kind of like mental pain?
Yeah, just be mental. There wouldn't be anything other than seeing him go through the motions. There wouldn't be anything visible that would be seen. Just a matter of watching this thing writhe a little bit from psychic pain.
Okay. Anything else you'd like to do with your turn?
Bonus action disengage and
Can do.
follow Zay out the damn door.
All right. Anir, what are you gonna do?
I think Onair's just gonna take a full action disengage. He's just trying to get as far away from this ball and chain as possible.
As you go ahead and do that, can you make me a strength check, please?
Gladly.
It's your thing. It's your thing.
It's my thing. It's kind of my thing.
I'm gonna wait. Because I feel like I'm getting into descriptions too much before things are re-rolled.
It's just improving your improv skills.
Now, as you have this chest and you go to move, you feel the entirety of the chest like unmoving. It feels like as you're pulling it forward, like the back of it feels like it's just like stuck there and you can't move past that point.
And I think really hard about what might stop something from moving.
Yeah, you can.
Okay.
Do you want to do history?
Sure.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah, go for history.
Like
Like
Yeah, you're sitting there like why is this like not moving? Why is it not going? And you even like shift it. It's odd. It feels like it's stopped in this specific space.
There it is.
There's the reroll.
Yep.
Good
Yep.
luck.
on my history check, yeah.
Yep. You got a +4 to it.
Yeah. Beautiful.
This object won't move. It's like it's immovable.
there's something in here. Yeah, it's immovable. Onair will let go of the chest.
Sits floating in the air, exactly where you had it.
Okay.
Huh.
Hell. Oh, yeah. I'll go this route. Um, can have I already used my action to disengage?
Yes.
Because I attempted it. Yeah. Okay.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. Can I use an object interaction to open the chest and see if I can unclick what I might be assuming is the immovable rod?
You can. Um, as you go ahead and unlatch this, it's not locked or anything, but as you do so, the rod is in the very top of this chest, so the entire bottom part swings out, and everything clatters to your feet. A multitude of objects, some of them being unwrapped by this fabric, and you see quite a curious sight. You notice that it's something that was wrapped and almost looked like it was some sort of like spherical object. All it is just a moldy piece of bread. You see another kind of fabric roll come undone and a lot of forks kind of just sat inside of it. As you're looking around, this is all a bunch of junk.
Fuck.
You do see the rod,
Got an
though.
immovable rod.
We have-
You see it cradled, kind of like the lid is on top of the rod, just shaking.
That is still there. That is still.
It's in play. It's in play.
Yeah. So Krellin and Arbor are to my left, or behind me rather.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And they're just messing about with the vampire male.
Yep.
Okay. Onair will call out to Krellin. Can I need a hand over here? Get this thing off of me. And he's going to bonus action. Knight's move. Krellin over to the mimic.
Oh, okay.
Oh.
Nifty.
Yeah, choose a creature within range, 30 feet. The mimic will have to make a wisdom saving throw. And on failure, he'll gain advantage on its next attack before the end of its next turn.
That's a cool spell. Yeah, you should be able to go ahead
is.
And then roll the save onto it.
Okay. Yes. Yep.
Yeah.
And it has a minus D4, which is gonna be great. That is. I don't know if it's
Yep.
frozen for anybody else.
Exactly what. Oh, it saved. Oh no.
It did. It did.
Wasn't enough.
I thought it was gonna be 1 under, but it's got a +1 to wisdom.
It's alright. They still get the teleportation, so.
Okay. So Krellin can go ahead and teleport, and then you were trying to give advantage to Krellin on it. Yeah,
Yeah.
easily.
Okay. And I think that'll be the end of Onair's turn. I don't think there's anything else he can do.
All right.
Just standing there with a whole bunch of junk around him and a immovable rod eye level.
Well, let's go ahead and wrap it up. We'll do one more round and we will take our break. So, Krellin, what you doing?
Yeah, Krellin will take that opportunity. He's very used to teleporting. He leans into it, and uses that to launch his attacks.
Okay.
Killed one of these things already. He can do another.
Exactly. You find the familiar kind of spots, though. This one is a little bit smaller in size, and still has a lot more of that kind of like metallic exterior to it. You can easily strike into it, though. And does he go for broke with a nat 20?
Baby.
Yes. Yeah.
Nice.
striking into it. This thing is extremely damaged. Some of the hinges are kind of like broken off towards like the metal itself, where you kind of see this creature. It's odd. It's formless, but it has elements of the ball and chain that it once was posing as.
Alright, then he's gonna go one more unarmed strike.
All right. Ooh, nasty.
Oof.
Almost.
Oh, not quite enough.
This thing bubbles and oozes, having difficulty keeping its form as it is still up. As is the immovable rod. Anything else you want to do with your turn, Krillin?
No, I think that's his action bonus action.
Okay. Zay, you are purposely outside.
I think I moved back to here to look down, and I'm just like, what is taking so long? Is the chest floating in midair?
Yep. Just to clarify, the chest is unhinged and floating midair still, yes. Yeah.
What? O'Neill, what is... Why is the chest floating?
It was garbage. There's only a rod in here. Like, an immovable rod.
Oh, well, take that.
Of course I will, but
Of course.
that's
of
all.
course.
That's all there was.
All right, well. Hit. Okay. And then I'll just like turn to Escher and I'll just be like, the chest was full of junk.
Figures.
Yeah, no, he fucked us, eh? We need to get out of this fucking sewer.
Let's hope he really wasn't working for anybody important.
Well, we can just lock the room behind us and then never speak of this again, honestly. And then, yeah, that'll end my turn. I'll move back out the way, move back to here, and then end my turn.
All right. And that is going to be over to Last Leg McGee over here. Going to go ahead and take a bite, a chomp on Krellin. And it misses.
Worst.
Yeah, the barbed kind of teeth that it has out of this like hooked shape, not really working. And Arbor, you feel like you are very close to being able to get out this individual who is now stabilized.
Yeah. Arbor would definitely yeah, Arbor seeing Krellin just throwing hands, taking care of business. Like, again, would just focus on finishing unbuckling this individual and kind of just tossing him limply over his shoulder.
All right. With your full action, you can go ahead and do that. But you now have him over your shoulder.
Right. Turns back and sees the chest. Shit. All right. Just gonna. I think that's as far as you can get.
Okay. You bring this body with you. You do have to trudge through quite a bit.
Yes.
If you could go ahead and make me a strength check, please. As you do have on some pretty heavy armor.
Strength check or an athletics check?
I'll let you use athletics for it.
Oh. I have a. Oh, I was looking at I was looking at Krellin's sheet for a second. Wait. I have a
What?
+0 to athletics?
Doesn't make sense.
No.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah, you have him up. He's so stretched, and his body is so like emaciated that you are able to kind of heft him up, and you feel like maybe his body's just a little bit heavier than the chest that O'Neill threw over. It's this gaunt individual that you've tossed over your shoulder, and it feels weird, especially because the arms kind of reach down as they're like hitting into your side, like lower onto like your thigh, is due to the hyperextension of the limbs.
Oh, it's like carrying person spaghetti. Oh, it's so uncomfortable.
Talk
Yep.
about a wet noodle fighter. Over here, but that takes the cake.
Oof. Anything else you'd like to do with your turn?
No, I think that's not. There's no bonus action, but yeah.
All
That's
right.
it for now.
Then we go over to Escher. You're both stood outside of this room, the entire job being kind of a bust for both of you, but you also have the spanning sewers ahead of you.
He's gonna go forward to. Let's see. Is there? Oh, the gate's at the far side. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Just gonna go check and see whether that got. Well, presumably it wasn't locked behind us because that was the last one through.
Oh, it
So
wasn't.
I'm going to check and make sure the door's open and then hold the gate open.
Doors open. Gates open. You're good. Oh. Anything else you'd like to do with your turn? All right.
He'll just air traffic control.
Press.
As
cast
anybody
light
comes
to
around
go
the
ahead.
corner, just be back the way we came.
O'Neill, you've got a creaky old chest hanging, going on top of this immovable rod, and you have a very hurt creature in front of you. What would you like to do?
Onair is a little pissed. He is first going to object interaction, take the immovable rod, and click it to try and like stow it away.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it does unclip.
Can I also take my maul out to strike this thing?
Yes, object interaction. You technically could.
Okay. So I will do so. Just once on this guy. I have advantage? Oh, I'm flanking.
You're
yes.
flanking. Yeah.
Oh, do I have to say before? Do I have to say before if I cast a smite? I've never played a
No.
paladin.
No, you don't.
No,
Okay.
you don't.
You just tack on that dang at the
No,
end.
you just wait. You just make an attack. You see how good it is, and then you're just like,
Smite.
That is so broken.
Yep.
yes.
Yes,
You
yes,
is.
indeed
You
it
wait
is.
for crits. You wait for crits, and then you're just like, level
Wait for
3
crits.
smite.
Yep.
Smite, please.
Oh my god. I mean, just a level 1 smite, just something to add some damage.
I am 90% sure this mimic has 1 health.
Smite? Yes. Okay.
No harm in making sure.
Making sure.
Crotch.
The power of Datus compels it. How do you want to go ahead and finish this?
Yeah, after Onair takes the rod and stuffs it away, with his maul, he just sort of takes it in an underswing and he almost like golf clubs it and just smacks it against the wall.
It's like a forward defensive stroke in cricket. It's amazing.
Now, I will go ahead and say this. How many attacks do you get as a paladin?
As a paladin, I think I get an extra attack. Yeah, I get an extra
You
attack.
get 2.
Okay. I recognize that it takes a full action for you to disengage the rod,
Yeah,
but
that's what I was kind of wondering.
I will allow for you to go ahead and use your second attack in order to disengage it. So in the similar way to how it hits you with the tongue and activated it, you may go ahead and do so as well.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do you want me
So
to
that
roll
way.
onto the rod?
No. You have it sat right there.
It's not gonna move.
Boom. You softball swing, home run. It clatters to the ground, and then you may go ahead and pick it up. But with that,
Yeah.
you have successfully killed all of these enemies. So, as you look across the assorted blood puddles around you, much like Arbor and Krellin prior, both Onir and Krellin, I need you to go ahead and make a dex save for me. Kind of revel in the success. Hear a smoky noise, a slight sizzle. All right, Krellin, you'll take half of 15. So you'll go ahead and take
if he has
half.
his evasion, so he takes none.
Nice. For you, Onir, you are taking the full 15 acid.
Oof.
This thing did hit into your, like, the side with the chest, and you notice that just a little bit of it got up on you. So as you're trying to address your feet, that's still going. The smoking smell is ever prevalent, and the whole place smells like shit. So it's not that great.
Don't worry, we'll take you to the furry madman, get you some new fur.
I'm telling you, it's a great place.
We'll get you reupholstered.
Recarpeting.
Starts swirling his maul around. Sagitally.
Just making droplets.
You're splattering it everywhere. Oh,
And as you find yourselves back inside of the sewers, no longer a guide before you, and no longer a torch to light your way. What would you like to do?
I'm gonna once again sort of move back round to here to see Arbor carrying the vampire. I'm just like, why? Why?
You want some questions answered?
No, what's he going to do? We rescued him from jail. What do you think he knows
Yes,
about
and
what's going on?
Something happened to him between when we rescued him from jail and this morning. So
Okay, just a DM, just a quick aside. I know we rolled to see if we recognize the people. I know that I recognize them. I think that, and then even if I didn't, I think that
Escher told
I
you.
found out from Escher.
Yep.
So I know, but these guys do not. Is that right?
True. Correct.
I mean,
That case-
Arbor knows.
Oh, does Arbor know? In that
Yes,
case, I'll
Arbor
literally,
rolled.
I'll literally look at Arbor and just be like, you know who this is?
Yes, I know who this is.
Okay. And you want to take him where?
Wait, who is this?
The two guys we broke out last night.
Oh, shit.
Well done. And I'm gonna, as Escher walks up, I'll just be like, he's taking the man. He's brought him off the rack.
If you wanna do this right here, right now, we can wake him up and if you or pull him into the so we don't get locked out.
Worst case scenario, the little goblin shit actually works for the Shadow Blades, and we're fucking on their bad list. And now we're gonna go take the person who killed the magistrate of the frickin' city and go haul him around like he's our little Bernie. It's a great play. You should go check that one out. But then we have the City Watch and everybody else on our ass in addition. Or we can take maybe the better of the two situations. Hope that he didn't work for the Shadow Blades, cut our losses, ditch this guy, and get the fuck out of here.
O'Neill wakes him up. We ask our questions. And if we feel like you still can't take him with him, we dump him in the sewer or back in here and we still leave him behind.
Let me check something real quick. And I'm gonna walk past into here and I'm gonna go to Zilchek's body and I'm just gonna pat him down for anything that he has on him.
Okay. Go ahead and roll me an investigation check.
While he's doing that, Asher would just be looking around, like, so who has the loot? Whatever was in the chest?
It was mostly junk. There was one thing. This rod, when you click it, it doesn't move.
Oh, lovely.
As you introduce that to Escher, Zay, you're looking over Zilchek's body, and the only thing that you find is a
Reroll.
small dagger.
I feel like she waits until you start describing it. Then it's
I would say so. I would say so.
She said she's flexing, so.
It's a great power move. Yeah, I'll roll again.
Go for it.
No, I think that's just a stream delay.
Yes.
Ooh.
So, as you are looking over this body, you find a small pouch that get the feeling that there's some sort of coin inside of here. You also find a dagger. And this dagger is not too unlike the one that you saw on the invitation. With your 25, you notice on the hilt of the dagger, there seems to be just the slightest bit of flaking. And as you go ahead and kind of like, are you picking it up?
I'm not gonna touch
No,
it.
you're not going to touch it?
I'll use a mage hand to sort of like hold it up in front of me to like slowly rotate it.
You notice the flaking that comes off of it. Blood.
From the dagger or the handle?
From the hand.
Is there anything like... I look at Zilchek's hands.
Mm-hmm.
Anything on like the palms of his hands?
You look at the palms of his hands. No. They seem to be kind of like dirty and grimy, but there's no sort of blood that you notice. But with your 25, I'll give you this. As his hands kind of lay there, you notice that underneath his fingernails, there's very much signs of blood.
I'll like use the mage hand to sort of like hold it in front of me. Even the mage hand's holding the dagger like this, like blade down, and move back past and then back out to like here. And I'll just be like, he had on him this dagger, which looks a lot like the dagger from the invitation we all got at the start. So that's one point in the probably working for the Shadow Blades. There's like weird dried blood around the handle. I don't know if anybody knows anything more about it, but he also had this pouch of gold, and if that's all the money we're getting from this, I feel very, very cheated. Well, I don't even know if it's gold. I'll open the pouch.
You see pure platinum coins inside?
It's just gold, so I'm going to hold on to this. No. No.
And so it begins!
I mean, you're the brains of things, so, I was actually thinking the opposite, that if he's got a blade that looks like the blade on the invitation, then maybe we were going to luck out and he doesn't work for the Shadow Blades. Then this is just all using their name to try and pull something off, but again, you're the brains.
That will be that lucky.
How much gold is it? Is it all together?
How many coins are there in this pouch?
Are you going to go through and kind of like count all of them?
I'm just going to open it, and then I just want to see, like, as a rough guess.
Like 60.
Like, it's probably around 60 gold, give or take. So we can split it between us. It's what, 12 gold each. not
Sounds
really
fair.
enough for what we did, but
Yeah.
maybe we'll split this up when we get out of the sewers, eh?
Yeah. Well, let's ask this guy some questions.
As you
What
are
do you
kind of
say?
sat between here, you hear the sounds of skittering louder, especially for Arbor, for Escher, and for Zay.
Is that torch still sitting out here? Just it's not ignited anymore?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's just not ignited.
I'm gonna send my echo forward.
Okay.
I'll
Are you
look
having
around
it
the
do
corner.
anything specifically?
No, I'm gonna just kind of like set this vampire, prop him against the, like, set him down, prop him against the wall, and peer through my echo's eyes.
Okay. And your echo doesn't view anything from that point.
Can I just cast Mage Armor a bunch of times to get my ward back?
Absolutely. You can spam the
Thank you.
cast.
Thank you.
Kind of walk through.
Can I make a history check to see if I know anything about what I meta know?
Sure. In what context? The location that you're in, or
No, the torch.
Ah, yes, you may.
I don't like my odds, but we'll give her a shot.
Hey.
Hey, we'll take that shot. That
I
was a
like
good
those.
shot. Should always preface with that. I don't like my odds.
And what do you know that possibly the others might have been deterred by because the torch was out?
Basically wanting to know if I know that this torch has special properties for traversing the sewers.
No. Its lack of an ignition source is really the only thing that's wrong with it right now. It's not in disuse. Or it's not that you can't use it.
Yeah,
It's
I'm
just
meaning
that
as
it's
to
a
do I have knowledge
purple
of
flame?
that whole concept.
No. Mhm.
Okay.
The purple flame, the reason why it's kind of colored is because it's this mixture of like a powder that almost mimics pheromones for the large creatures that inhabit these sewers and keep most people out.
All right. Asher will proceed to use his tinderbox in an attempt to relight the torch,
You easily do so.
and then I'll hand it to O'Neill.
And give O'Neill some illumination now. So you've got a torch, and that should be that. Can everybody see in light now? Oh, wait. I have to press the add button. I'm getting used to this. Okay. So, lighting. I need to go ahead and click on there. I need to go to here.
There's also it's
I need to...
effects. You can just drag one from effects too.
Ooh.
Just
everybody
lights,
see that?
torch. Just
Items. Torch. It's like this. Nope. Nope. That didn't do it. That didn't do it.
you put it into his inventory.
No, I coded his token.
Oh.
So I gave him the lighting effect. He should have it. I want to go ahead and add.
I gave him one. It worked.
There you go. Cool. Nice.
We got there. Teamwork.
Mm-hmm. Now, Arbor, it is water where you are. Are you stepping into the water?
The coloring, yes, I did not.
Okay.
It was all gray.
Arbor just goes whoop.
It was all gray.
It is.
So I assume it was just
is.
stone.
Oh great! Now
but
we have wet
I assume,
dog.
I assume, I assume Arbor would see that it's water.
Yes. Yeah.
Be able to
The
tell.
You only got one of your feet into it. And I'll go ahead and just keep the other individual here.
Yeah.
Now, as you take a moment to go ahead and hear through your echo arbor, due to your proximity, you hear that scurrying. It seems more rapid. It seems like it's happening. And then the moment that the torch is lit using Escher's tinderbox, it does actually kind of fall off again and move out towards the distance.
Well, whatever it is, it's leaving now.
Instead of conducting interrogations in the sewer, why do we not leave the sewer? Or at least go
Alright,
back to the pit underneath the robber's grotto. At least we know where that is. And then we can get upstairs relatively quickly, I would assume.
Sure. And well, if that place is controlled by the Shadow Blades, do we want to take a different route?
Do you know? I mean, if you want to explore the sewers, I guess, but at least we know it is a way out. You know?
Right, the only other option is aimlessly wandering until we find the way that happens to lead somewhere. And that place we don't know where.
I mean, fair enough.
Can I tell?
All right, let's go then.
Can I tell the torches doing the is doing this?
You can make that leap.
I'll beckon O'Neill to stand in the middle, so the torch is getting all of us.
Yeah,
And I'll
O'Neill
be
will shuffle around.
I guess I'll just be like, all right, I think I remember the way back, so. I will move out. Start moving.
All right.
Yeah,
Take a
go
look,
ahead
should
and
be off.
follow.
Do you see it?
Yes.
Yeah. As you round the corners, with O'Neill right behind you, you see a cloaked individual. They're not short. This individual is much taller. And as they kind of stand there, they just seem to be watching you. And they disappear.
Did O'Neill see it, or was it just me?
It's just you.
In that case, I'll sort of stop suddenly, and I'll just be like, okay, I just saw somebody at the end of this part of the sewers, and they definitely saw me, and then they have just disappeared. This is worrying, to say the least.
Right, perfect. So, an unknown knows our location, and we do not know theirs.
Right? Yeah, that is about right.
Perfect.
Fucking hate these sewers.
I'm right there with you.
Want to keep going back to the Robber's Grotto?
It is the only place I know it is an out for these go on for literally miles.
DM, as we're making our way back, can Onair hold a old person if he sees a person?
Sure. Yeah. I'd allow that.
Like a person that appears unnaturally, not just like we walk up the stairs and the first person that Onair sees, he just yeah. You get it.
Sure. Yeah.
I'll go a little bit sort of more cautiously
Mm-hmm.
as I move around. Obviously, we get to here, I'll just be like, this is where I saw him. So,
once we get here, can Onair do a divine sense to see if there's any sort of like lingering trace?
Sure. Yeah. Divine Sense gives you power over what specifically?
I know the location of any celestial fiend or undead within 60 feet, and I can detect just any place that's been consecrated or desecrated.
No, you don't pick up on any of those.
Okay. Check all your boxes.
Okay, I'm gonna cast Detect Magic
Mm-hmm. Okay.
just to keep that sort of up for the next like 10 minutes.
Perfect. Yeah. Now you can sense magic around you. It is specifically coming from your cadre of folks.
Drag that. So I can just drag the effect onto myself, is that right?
Indeed, yes. Ta-da!
So is there anything outside of the magic I would be used to from the people I am traveling with?
At a range of 30 feet now?
Okay, so I'll continue moving.
As you go ahead and walk out, you notice this cloaked individual stood atop the water with these hues of gray caused by your dark vision. It's a little bit difficult, and it almost looks like it's the same exact walking surface. But you know, due to the cast of this purple torch, this individual is stood atop the water. And Onair, you had it prepared?
I will cast Hold Person.
All right. What is the range on Hold Person?
It is 60 feet.
You see them, and you feel, as you're going to cast this spell, that it might not be able to connect with this individual.
They are outside the range, or they are not a person?
They're outside of the range. Give you you're level 10. You would definitely be adept with your own magics at this point for any casters in the group.
Right.
And all you can do at this time is stare. Zay, do you want to do anything?
Is he just stood there watching us?
Mm-hmm.
I see nothing about the way he looks that, like, nothing that suggests what group he may be part of or anything like that. It's just an ominous person in some dark robes.
All you notice is that they wear this long hood kind of draped over their face. They have long flowing robes that kind of sit. They actually fall into the water, the robes. But their body seems to be almost like levitating above it. And they have a belt that seems to have a book at their side. Just a large leather-bound tome.
Look like the kind of book that I would be familiar with.
Yes.
Cool. At that point, I'm just like, fuck these. I just want out. I want out of these fucking sewers.
And as you say this, the figure still stands there. As you each kind of move your way up. Whoop, whoop, whoop. And then Conrad got disconnected.
Oh.
He's just deep in thought.
Oh, now we have Arbor, Krellin, both out. But presumably, there we go. Thank you. As you all kind of like make your way through, you realize that this individual puts out a hand and like a Grim Reaper points directly towards the individual draped across Arbor's shoulder.
Come back and look at Asher and just sort of gesture towards this person in there. It's like, I'm the brains, you're the mouth.
Looking for this guy.
Get a simple nod. He's back. He's back. And
Well, I mean,
you actually
happy to make a deal.
Zay, you hear a voice inside of your head. It's not entirely new of a feeling.
Entirely new of a voice?
What?
Is it entirely new of a voice?
It is entirely new of a voice, yes. Just deep, raspy, kind of like aged, almost wizened voice. And it says to you, if you scrap the body, then we can move forward.
I'll be like, did anybody else hear that, or is that just me?
Huh?
He said, if we get rid of this body, we can negotiate, yes?
Why?
Don't ask me, ask the creepy man floating in the water.
That's who I was asking.
I'm so sorry.
You see this individual kind of drift forward. They don't drift towards the left or the right. They stay straight through the center of this stream of water. And as they go ahead and move up, you hear the voice in your head, Arbor, that says, scrap the body and you can move forward.
Does this voice sound familiar?
Entirely new.
Cool. Oh, doesn't feel like we're. This is a negotiation. You want to tell us why? Should toss this guy in the drink?
You don't get a reply?
Can we head up around the corner and discuss whatever arrangements we need to make somewhere drier? Swell. Awesome. Glad we can have this nice communication going on here.
Did you say this? The individual disappears. And for you, Zay, as you have detect magic up, you do detect magic out towards that area, exactly where the presence of this individual was before they kind of drift out of this space. Just out of the purview.
What is it that I detect?
In terms of schools of magic, you detect two specifically. The first that you detect is illusion, and then the second that you detect is transmutation.
Arbor, what were the exact words that he said to you?
Scrap the body and we can move forward.
Yeah, he said the same thing to me. It sounds like a projection recording. No? Exactly the same words.
Oh.
Okay. I'll move up.
I'll turn off token lock for the moment being. You can go ahead and move up behind if you want to.
So, what are we gonna do?
Yeah.
Are we going to comply or?
I'm on board with ditching the dead weight.
He's more trouble than I think he is worth.
I don't know. You don't think he'd be able to answer any of our questions?
I have a feeling that if we try and get information out of this man, we're going to bring more trouble down upon ourselves than we may already be in.
Onir,
Yes.
can you talk with dead people?
What the fuck kind of question is that?
I don't believe I've ever tried.
Who has?
Cool. No. I've seen it. I've seen it done. Interrogations and such. Just wanted to know if we might want to just keep the head, stick the guy's head in our pack before we go. We could ask him the questions later. No.
You have not any sanctity of life, of the body.
What? So we kill him by drowning and not cutting off his head? Why is that any different?
We do not have to drown him. We just have to get rid of the body. He didn't say, throw that body directly in the water. He was just like, leave
fair.
body.
Alright. Arbor will take the body and place him, tilt him up against the wall. Okay, so we left the body.
I repeat again, let me out of these fucking sewers. As I walk by and I see the person again, trying to just look at him and just be like, we've left the body. Let me out of the fucking sewers.
You see an arm gestured out over towards the place where you entered from.
Ah, thank you. Yes. Amazing.
That probably means we're walking to an ambush and we're gonna get killed anyway, so you know.
We just walked out of an ambush. What do you want?
I do not want to die in these sewers.
Cool, we'll die in the tavern instead.
That's fine. In a tavern, I could probably escape. In a sewer? No.
As we
Hey,
walk by,
Oh, that's right.
I was just gonna ask. As we walk by, did we get any better look at this individual?
Yes. For the first time, you are walking by with a source of proper illumination, even if it is tinted in purple. And as a result of that, you notice quite a bit more about this individual. As they're kind of standing there, you notice they have this book at their side, but there's also this thin mist that seems to be kind of roiling forth out of the hood. It's twinkly, it's almost like starlight as it kind of sits there and effervesces into the air. It's a very odd sight, especially in the purple glow of your torchlight. But they still have their arm outstretched over towards where you entered from. As you go ahead and move towards the exit, Zay, are you the first to go up?
Getting up there, but I'm also gonna check detect magic for anything above, because it goes 30 feet above.
Mhm.
There.
Yeah, as you try to ping with it, there isn't anything that's above you. Especially with the kind of upwards momentum of it's not blocked. If you're talking about the staircase cellar proper, but nothing pinks for magic. You feel like you're not going to get ambushed by arcane, at least.
In that case, as we get to like just here, I'll go. All right, this is the way that we came in. There is no more body. We're not getting paid except for the 12 gold we each got. But at least we are leaving this thing alive. So I will take a win wherever I can find one.
As you go ahead and say this, you hear in your head that voice once again. Onair, you hear the voice inside of your head. For Escher, for Krellin, and also for Arbor, is each of you here in turn will be in touch. And then your name afterwards. Not the names that you've been parading around and identities that you've been masquerading with, but a first name. If you have a last name, that as well. The specificity by which this voice speaks these names feels like they have a lot more on you than Zilchek did. Because he's dead.
Dead men tell no tales.
Well,
No loose ends.
O'Neill here just like muttering behind him as Escher just fuck.
Oh, yeah. I don't want to implicate any of you if you haven't introduced your name to the rest of the party, but whoo, you're getting the deep deets.
no, you were like, as soon as you said that, I knew Asher. Asher hasn't told us his. Whatever his
There might be
true
somebody
name is
else
or
here
whatever.
too, but who knows?
It's like climbing up these steep stairs you described before.
Yeah. You go ahead and climb back up onto the wooden stairs of the Robber's Grotto as each of you kind of peter up back to the top. Go ahead and reshare this and drag some tokens up.
DM, I'd like
Mhm.
to leave my echo
Okay.
in the sewers for right now. And as soon as we get up, we're just gonna sit down and look and see if the echo can just stealthily like sneak back and just watch the vampire's body and see what happens.
Oh, you're gonna have it watch the vampire's body?
No, like not like walk up to it, but watch and see what happens to it. Like watch and see what if that figure does anything or what ends up happening.
Yeah. Go ahead and roll me a. Go ahead and roll me a stealth.
Sure.
I'll keep
Yeah,
the sewer
I'm a
music up 'cause
being
y'all
made
are
of
so
darkness, slipping, trying to sneak through the pitch dark.
Oh, it was there.
It was almost a nat 20.
I will give the opportunity for the delay. Saga,
Yes, I wanna
if you would
wait
like
see
to
if
invoke.
if Saga saves me.
There it is.
There it is.
Thank you so much. You're an icon. You're a lifesaver.
No, look at there it is.
Hey! It's the second time you've done that for me, nice. Percy, Saga.
So, as you go ahead and make your way up, the group, you pass through the threshold of this cellar with these kegs, the place where Zilchek moved over, a piece for you to be able to proceed out of this trap door. You start to make your way up the staircase, and you all hear a rattling from underneath you. If that makes you quicken your pace, if that makes you stop in place, you at least have solace in the fact that you are no longer in the sewers. But With your 26 arbor, you are able to go ahead and get your echo into position. The question becomes, are you looking through its senses?
Yes.
So that means you're incapacitated while this is happening?
Like I said, like as soon as I got up and
Okay.
into it, I'd be losing my hearing and sight. And if I just need to like stop and put my hand against the wall or walk slowly, like with my feeling against the wall as I view what's happening.
Yeah. Oh, this is going to be complex. Okay. So, you feel this shaking. For your echo arbor, you are able to go ahead and witness the fact that this figure has stood towering over this crumpled body of this vampire man, who you know is the one that you were commissioned to bring back in. As this figure reaches out, they actually shift their hand upwards and touch the wall above them. As you see cracks start to form, the entirety of the sewers shake. You see stones start to rumble and move as everything seems to crumple in on itself. I need everybody to go ahead and make me a dex save, and I will allow you this, Arbor. Krellin is with you, so if you want Krellin to go ahead and assist you, you can go ahead and make a flat roll rather than one at disadvantage because you're not in all of your senses.
Oh shit, maybe I should have remembered this as well.
Your
you
aura?
are all within 30. Yes, you are all within 30 feet of me, so you get a bonus to your saving throw equal to my charisma modifier,
Which is?
which is a +3.
Nice.
Nice.
Which probably would have helped me earlier.
Yeah.
Not take 15 damage. Oh.
Oh.
Dex save
Okay.
Yes, a dex save from all of you.
with an additional +3.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, you can add that too.
Wow, a nat 1.
Hey, Saga. hey, Saga.
I was gonna say I believe I have my other bonus thing too. That
Ah, yes, you do have the favor of tomorrow.
You do.
want to shift Saga's reroll to Arbor's instead.
Might be best. Might be best.
And so, how's this effect work? What do I need to do?
You just roll another d20.
Just roll another.
Yeah,
Yep.
it's just essentially a reroll.
Okay. Well, it can't get worse, so.
That's true. It's actually true.
Man, not rolling high, though, so.
Nice.
Alrighty. So,
I'm actually.
Arbor.
I was gonna say I'm gonna burn the inspiration when I got to reroll mine,
There you go. Yeah.
just for safety's sake.
Nice.
Nice.
That's a
So
lot.
23, a 19,
All right.
a 14.
I guess I'm rolling a third time.
Oh.
Keep rolling.
Yeah, it's because Saga redeemed again, so.
Mm-hmm. For silver. There. It
There,
is.
third tries the charm. Thanks, Saga.
You all brace yourself.
Sephora herself.
Yeah.
Can I change the name of that spell I have to Gift of Saga?
I'm good for it. Absolutely. Yeah.
Just gifts.
Saga's already getting MVRP, so.
Favor
are-
of Saga. Perfect.
So you all brace yourselves. It is an intense struggle against the shaking underneath you. it feels like the ground beneath you is going to collapse. But just as quickly as this shake started, it settles. You are in the back storage room of the Robber's Grotto. And the ground beneath your feet is not quaking anymore.
What does my echo see as the tunnel starts to collapse?
Your echo would see large stone crumpling from the ceiling. Not the entirety of the sewers, but a good amount of parts of the sewers. These bricks that you saw kind of laid in on the sides, any that showed a chip or any sort of damage to its integrity is quaking underneath the weight of whatever this figure has done. And very easily... Oh, what were we going to say?
No, I was going to say the echo will stand there and watch until it is crushed by
Perfect.
by-
Oh, it happens. But with your nat 20, you see right before this figure departs that it picks up the body of this individual. And we pan over to the Robber's Grotto. As your senses come back to you, Arbor, and all of you make it up. Zay, you're the first to go ahead and step into the interior. And what do you see?
There is nothing and nobody in here.
All of the curtains are drawn on the interior of this space. The entirety of the Robber's Grotto is empty. And as you're standing there, you look at the fireplace that's burning. As it shakes and shivers with intense heat, you notice that stepping out of the fireplace itself and onto the very nice bearskin rug is an individual who one of you knows very well. You see Senna, the performer from the previous night, standing. Her dress is different now. It's not just a simple ivory, but now it has markings of black all over it. It seems like these tendrils that snake across the actual wear. And at her side, she has a small pouch bound with a belt. And she also has a dagger. One that looks strikingly similar to the one that Zilchek had in his possession.
I walk out, I see her, and I immediately stop and turn back towards Escher, and I'm just like, what did you do?
And that's where we end session.
Oh!
So, did only Zay see that, or did we all exit out?
I mean, unless everybody's Scooby-Dooing around the door frame. I think Zay's
Escher's
walking.
getting the hell out of the way, a kind of tunnel vision walking away. So
okay.
he would not have waited in the room if there was an opportunity to get out of there.
We'll push everybody in. We'll say Zay was the first one to make it.
Okay, so I'll be over.
I think Arbor is probably still in the room because he was standing there watching the.
Okay.
Collecting your thoughts.
everything.
I'll put Krellin with you too. Arbor and Krellin can have a surprise at the top of next session. But Escher and
Yep.
Zay, and then Onair. Who the hell is that? You all see Senna though. And that is where we will wrap up for the evening.
Both Krellin and the player will get a surprise.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Just tell him we didn't play. And this is where we left off.
We absolutely
Back where
canceled
we
the
started.
session. So this is where we go ahead and end our VOD, but this is not the end of our session, as we normally do wrap up with our MVRP, with our favorite moments, with any lingering questions. So if you are watching this recorded, definitely come and check it out live. You have the opportunity to put me in the hot seat every single time I have to improv backstep a reroll. But you also have an opportunity to see everybody kind of get to go through session, what's stuck with them, and we go ahead and dole out some inspo to the person we vote as MVRP for the session. So with that being said, we will see everybody next week for the exciting 4th session of Tattoo.
Yeah.
Close out here.
Goodbye, y'all.